half, and that was really the key to this game to help you kind of extend the lead and win it in the end.
For sure. That's what we talked about at halftime. The first team that decides to play some defense will have an opportunity to win this game, and it's a credit to our guys in the locker room keeping our standards high and really just going out in the second half and executing on both ends of the floor. And, this is a tough back-to-back. They're a team that plays hard. They're fast, and if you don't get a hold of them, they can gain some confidence.
How nice was it to see CJ? His shot's been scuffling the last couple of games. Boy, he really broke out of it last night, got 30, and it was just good to see the ball go in the hole for him.
It was great to see CJ be aggressive, make some shots. Like you said, Graf, for last 3, 4, 5 games, what have you, just kind of missing some easy ones. He knocked them down today, and that was the difference in the game for sure.
Yeah, how good was it to see Zion, Braden, and CJ, all get going in the same game?
It was great. Those 3 guys have been fantastic all season, and that's what it's going to take for us. It's going to take that type of effort, that type of execution as we continue to progress.
Zion athletically it looks like he's in a different place than a few months ago. What has allowed him to reach this point?
He's continuing to stack his days, and, we're seeing the results of that.
And how much do you kind of see the rebounding as a reflection of that, just his aggression and going up and getting those boards as much as he has been?
Quite frankly, whatever he decides to do on the floor, when he's right, he can do it. And the rebounding is another component to that. He's going up. You guys are watching, getting offensive rebounds, getting second chance points, defensive rebounds, igniting our break. He's playing really good basketball right now.
Just what did you think about the minutes Jeremiah was able to give you tonight, playing him some backup 5, just the opportunity for him to step in and give you some minutes?
He was great. He stepped in right away and didn't miss a beat. And it's a credit to all of our guys and our coaching staff, medical performance. They all stay working and stay preparing because you never know when your moment is going to be called. And tonight, Jeremiah, he was really good, and we're grateful to have him.
Will you go a little deeper on Graf's question? First 30 minutes or so, you guys gave up 86 points. Over the final 18, just 21 points. Did somebody say something, or who kind of led that turnaround?
I'm sure the guys were talking in the locker room. We came in at halftime and addressed it, and they're a team that wants to get into the paint. They want an offensive rebound and get second chance opportunities. So we had to adjust how we were guarding. We can't, you can't be up pressuring the whole time and allowing straight line drives. And once we took on that challenge of guarding the ball, being in shifts, the game turned for us. And more than likely, that's collectively all the guys talking amongst themselves.
Will you change up your rotations in the second half between B.I. and Z? I think you played for the whole third quarter. Can you go into what were you thinking behind that?
We liked what was going on with that group, and B.I. had it going. And so when you have nights like this, back to back, got some guys out. For us, we just have to feel what's going on the floor, and we felt B.I. had it going. We wanted to ride him, and then we can get him a quick break when we need to.
Coach, you're sitting at 41 wins right now. Last year, you didn't get that till April 5th. First year, you didn't get to 41 at all. Even though the season's going on, do you kind of take little moments to kind of reflect on the progression of your coaching staff and the franchise year over year?
Absolutely. It is a tremendous blessing to be in the position that we're in right now. And I'm grateful for the opportunity from Ms. Benson and Griff and our management staff to coach this team and to see us continue to improve year in and year out. This season is not finished. Obviously, we got more to do, but, when we get that type of buy-in, I just give credit to God, and I'm grateful for it.
And when his team is 15-5 over the last 20 games, what can you say about the consistency and how much do you like how consistent y'all are kind of starting to?
Yeah, it's been good for us. We're putting the work in, and that's where it starts. It starts with our ability to take our film work, to teach on the floor, to have competitive practices, and then have carryover when the game comes. And that's a credit to all of our guys, all the staff that's working diligently behind closed doors. And we're starting to see that pay off down the stretch.
And going back to, you guys have 41 wins. You're obviously familiar with the history of this franchise, only 150 in the season here in New Orleans. I mean, does that kind of add meaning to what you guys are doing right now, that you're doing something that really hasn't been seen very much here with this franchise?
Once again, I'm super grateful. It's a tremendous blessing. I don't even want the credit. The credit goes to our amazing staff, our players. I'm grateful to be in this position, and we're just going to continue to try to win as many games as we can and see where the chips fall. But we love this group. Makes it easy to come in every day. They compete. Their togetherness is off the charts, and we just want to maximize our potential.
Well, you're about to hit the road again. Like, why has this team been so successful on the road?
I'm not sure. If I had to pinpoint anything, it's just the consistency of holding themselves to a certain standard. If we're at home, we try to hold ourselves to a certain standard. We can be better. But when we go on the road, same thing. We try to lock in, sacrifice, get a meal, what have you, get rest, and get ready to play. Okay, thank you.
For all things Pelicans, you're now tuned into the Pelican Postgame Report. Much love to the flock. I appreciate y'all being in this episode of the Pelican Postgame Report. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and feel free to share the links on your social media feed. We're in this thing. The Pelicans rout the T-Blazers, the Trailblazers, 126-107. Shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being in the stream. Man, listen, man, this was a very good win. The Pelicans at first kind of had to figure it out toward the early portions, but they closed the door on this team, routing them out 126-127, man. And listen, let's cover a few things here, man. Let me share this with your family right now. And Rod Walker, shout out to him, beat writer for the Times-Picayune. And he had this tweet to share that the Pelicans beat the Blazers tonight and are 15-5 over the last 20 games. 9 of the 15 wins have been by double digits. The Pelicans 41-26, and boy, 15-5 over the last 20 games. Excuse me. They are playing some pretty good ball right now for the Pelicans. Also, the Pelicans are currently, for the family, 41 wins. Now they got 41 wins. They're 41-26 right now. And the reporter, I think that was Rod, asked them a question about why they're so good on the road, because right now, even though it's one game better, they are 21-13 on the road versus 20-13 at home in the Smoothie King Center. And in the West, if you take a look at the statistics, the Pelicans are the second best road team in the Western Conference behind the Timberwolves, who are one win better, 22-13. 7-3 the last 10, the Pelicans putting in that work, fam. They're handling the business. So shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being here, man. We in this thing. I'm my bad. Hold on. Don't tell me I forgot to send my girl Lex that link. Did I not? Man, I'm tripping. Hold on just a second, y'all. Give me just a second. Let me send Lex the link. I'm sorry, Lex. I thought I sent it, man. I thought I sent it to you. There you go. All right. Anyway, shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all, man. Let's touch on this one, man. Let's get on this one. Pelicans, man. Be proud, family. The Pels handled the business tonight, man. They took care of business against this Trailblazers team. And listen, this was somebody they were supposed to beat, but it's also an NBA team, so you can never underestimate them. And listen, the Trailblazers gave them an effort. They made the Pelicans work. Now, of course, we were shorthanded. Herb didn't play. Larry didn't play. Shout out to Uncle Earl Robertson. He stepped up and did his thing in the matchup. Trey, Jose Alvarado, they did their thing. Several other players. Najee Marshall, all those guys got involved. But let's cover some statistics of the matchup here. The Pelicans, 53.6% shooting from the field tonight. That's 52 out of 97. Blazers were 42 of 84 for 50% flat. 13 of 33 in threes by the Pels for just over 39%. 12 of 23 by the Blazers for 36.4. The Pelicans went to the foul line just 10 times tonight. but they were 9 out of 10 for 90%. This was not a extremely poor officiated game, but fam, I've seen a lot worse. But this game was just par for the course in terms of the referees. Zion getting hacked, Jose Alvarado getting a bloody lip, getting knocked across his face with the. It's just amazingly poor, and it's insufferable to watch NBA basketball nowadays, especially these officials. Man, these are not officials anymore, man. If you can't call a travel, you can't notice a very noticeable foul. It's just it's just stink league now, man. It's just these officials just all rotten. 11 of 12 for 92% for the free throws for the Wolves. So I mean, for the Trailblazers, they didn't do much better in 2 more foul attempts, but the Pelicans overall 39 rebounds for them against 36 assists. They had 36, almost 40 assists tonight, 8 steals for them. They had 5 blocks, and they had, once again, last matchup, the Pelicans held. They had 9 turnovers tonight, just 10 turnovers in the game. So the Pelicans did a wonderful job in doing that. They led by as much as 19. And then when the second half really, came into being, the Pelicans just kind of extended. They just put their foot on the pedal and just mashed on the Trailblazers and got them the hell up out of here. So that's some of the stuff to talk about there. Let's bring Lex in, and we'll kind of hit the individual statistics as the Pelicans continued to kind of handle their business there. CJ kind of struggled last game. This game, he led all scores, 30 points from him. He got it going. He was trying to get it going early, getting cooking against the Trailblazers. He got to show off against the Blazers. That's the team that he left from. So he gave him a 30 burger tonight, 12 of 20 from the field. He was 50% from downtown. He hit 6 3-pointers tonight for CJ McCollum. Finished with 8 assists, 2 rebounds for him, and 2 steals. CJ put on a show tonight. 26 from Zion in 34 minutes, 11 of 17 from the field, 4 of 5 from the foul line. And Zion, a double for Zion tonight, 26 and 10 with 3 assists, 1 steal, 1 block. He did his thing. 22 from BI in 35 minutes, 10 of 21 from the field. He hit 1 3-pointer, 7 rebounds, a couple of assists from him, plus 12. And it was just really good. Plus 21 for Zion, plus 12 for Ingram. You seen Trey Murphy in the starting role, had 20 points. He was 4 of 8 from downtown in 35 minutes, had 6 rebounds and 5 assists for him in his 20-plus effort. And then, of course, off the bench, Najee Marshall in 23 minutes had 11 points, 5 boards, and a couple of assists. 7 from Jose in 31 big minutes, 6 from Uncle Jeremiah Robinson Earl. He had 6.6 assists, 5 rebounds, plus 17 for him, plus 23 for Jose, plus 15 from Najee, plus the win. The Pelicans handled the business. They lead the series 2-0, and they have a final game in April on the 9th that they have to deal with this club. But, man, in the end, fantastic win by the Pels. So let's bring Lex in. Lex, how you doing tonight? Pelicans.
Hey, what's going on, Big Q?
Doing pretty good. Sorry about that link snafu right there. I thought I had sent it. I just got ahead of myself. But listen, this was a great win tonight by the Pelicans. We knew this is the game they're supposed to take care of. They get their 41st win tonight, and they just mash on and keep going as we get out of that this little home stand of 3 games, 2-1. Pelicans moving in that right direction. What do you think about tonight's matchup?
Yeah, I mean, shoot. Yesterday, I said, 41, 41st win. So, I mean, they did that. And they were supposed to. This team, below 500 team, they weren't going to do anything with getting a win. So, but, we could definitely use it. It's definitely a real rebuilding process for the Trailblazers. So it was only right for us to come in and take care of this team, being a 5th seed, well in the playoff picture. But they did their thing. One thing that I was, I guess that I knew that was coming is that anytime the Pels play the Trailblazers, CJ seems to have a pretty good game. So, and he did. He had a 30-piece. I think he really needed a game like this. So it was. I'm glad to see him, just perform well, because I think we can all agree CJ has not been playing too great here of late. So I guess this was playing against his, former team. It was very much needed for him to get back on track, get him refocused, aligned right in the right direction, because we are going to need him. We're going to need everybody on this team. This game was up and down. It was close for the most part throughout the whole game, but at the end they pulled it out. I mean, really, it just came down to just being more talented, having just stronger build habits, and plus, the way that Zion has been playing. I think Zion played the whole third quarter, which was really something. I mean, we don't usually see those things a lot, but I think in CJ's presser, he stated that Zion did not want to come out the game at all. So Zion's really stepping up, like, just with his leadership and really all around game. I think a lot of people can appreciate the fact that, he had double digits in rebounds. It's kind of weird because he's had double digits in assists, but Zion having double digits in rebounds hits a whole lot different than him having double digits in assists. So, but I'm glad he's able to, get a double-double. Hopefully at some point that can actually be more consistent than anything. But it was nice. I think we had 4 players that hit 20 points or 20 plus points. Did Trey, did he have 20 points?
Yeah, he got up there. I think it was 20. Let me put it back up there.
Yeah, because I think we had 4 guys with 20 plus points, which is really, really
That
good.
is. Yep, 4 of them. And CJ
Yeah.
led up 30 piece by him. So yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, that is nice. Wouldn't it be nice to have that like every night? You know what I'm saying? Something like this. So, but yeah, everybody performed. We didn't miss a beat being without Herb. The defense was still there. So one thing that I would like to give credit to is that, even though Herb is the leader of our defense and he really sets the tone there, our guys, you can really tell that other guys have stepped up defensively. Okay, so we definitely want to give praise and honor to whom honor is due there, because guys play defense. They play defense, even without her being in the lineup. So credit to the guys for really stepping up. The same thing with Larry Nance. We were down as far as, with our front court, but JRE, he stepped in and he was ready to go. I was glad to see him out there. Just his movement. He really does remind me, like, with his movements and how he does. He really reminds me of another Larry Nance. I think sometimes, the fact that he doesn't get in the game a lot, he's a little off rhythm, but I think that's to be expected. But for the most part, he really stepped in and did his thing. He was active around the glass, boxing out, just, anything to disrupt. So he did a really good job filling in for Larry. But yeah, it was a solid game. CJ, Zion, BI, and Trey really stepped up. So it was a game we were supposed to win. So we're moving on, hopefully, to get the 42nd win.
Indeed, we got Brooklyn coming up on Tuesday, I believe it is, and we got to see how that works. And just a broadcast note for tonight, family, we won't be able to open the lines of communication tonight. I have another stream I have to attend later on, so I'm not going to be able to do it tonight. So we're going to have to postpone that to next week. My apologies to the flock. I know a lot of people wanted to chime in, but like I said, we're going to have to postpone it tonight. So just for the family members of note to know. So anyway, as we keep it going forward into the next matchup, the Brooklyn Nets is the matchup. And, Cam Thomas is the top guy right there. He's a difficult cover. Nick Claxton, the guy we talked about before. We know Herb and Larry was out. They're supposed to be back for the matchup. We'll see how it goes. And of course, we talk about, oh my goodness, Ben Simmons and all those guys. But the Brooklyn Nets are up next. Lex 26-41, 6-18 at their home building. Pelicans going to have to kind of carry the day right there to take care of Brooklyn. Not a very good team. Pelicans smashed this team early January, 112-85. They'll have to make sure they bring that same intensity up there to take care of business against this club coming up on Tuesday. So, Lex, what you think about the matchup against Brooklyn?
I mean, just like the last time, I think this is another team that they're not very good. They're not as talented. They just fired their coach. One of their top players, and Ben Simmons, he's out. That was kind of being sarcastic there, but yeah, I
Right.
mean, this team, yeah, I mean, he's only played like a few games, but yeah, this team is not very good. But in that same breath, just because a team is not very good, they're still an NBA team. We still want to come out and respect this team and play to our strengths, not play at their level or below their level or anything, or playing down to our competition. That's what I was trying to find there. We want to play to our highest potential. This is a game we should blow these guys out. Give them no hope immediately.
We lost Lex. All right, yeah. Hold on, let's keep it going, fam. I think she dropped out and try to get her back in there.
Oh, okay. Hold
Oh,
on.
you
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. Sorry about that.
okay?
Yeah, but yeah, this is a team that we should definitely beat. We want to come in with the right mindset, come in with the right energy, either match or exceed their energy because they are going to be at home. But I'm more aimed at the exceeding part because every game that we're playing is very important. Every single game, even the lower teams, the teams that are not about to do nothing, that are not in playoff contention, we have to continue to keep a level head and understand what we're trying to do. It's not about the other team, it's about us. You got to be a little bit selfish. So got to continue to get better, improve ball movement, player movement. Point Zion is still working. Hopefully, with Larry being out today, I really do hope that we can still utilize Jonas. I know his minutes are down since post All-Star break, but we still got to use Jonas. His value is still up there. The thing is, you cannot teach 7 foot. You can't do that. Not only that, Jonas is our best rebounder. So he does have value. And plus, we don't want Larry Nance to get beat up a lot. When he's down there, down low, you have to remember, like, Larry Nance is what, 6'7"? So,
Yep.
yeah, and I hope Willie knows this. Like, I understand that Willie loves the small ball, but if you're trying to use Larry in the playoffs, you might want to preserve him a lot better and put in an indestructible guy like Jonas and utilize him like you were in the first half of the season. Because the thing is, if your goal is to use Larry Nance in the playoffs a lot, you got to help him. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you don't want him to take a whole lot of hits to his body, especially when he's, been in and out of the lineup. And obviously he was out on tonight. So, just keeping things in perspective and keeping things balanced because, we know how Willie is. We know he's in love with that small ball, those small ball lineups. But yeah, if we stay true to what we've been doing and continue to harness in and lock in and polish up, clean up, any bad habits or, just the small details that need to be fixed, we're headed in the right direction because that's what this thing is about. We need to rack up as many wins as possible because I say again, those last 11 games are going to be brutal. They're going to be brutal. So we don't know what to expect, but they will be great challenges, and including the game on March 22nd. Those games will be very, very meaningful games. And we want to have everything kind of covered, whether we win or lose those games, because they are going to be tough games that are happening back to back to back to back.
Yes, indeed, man. Yeah, we got to definitely do that, Lex. We got to take care of business against teams. The sub 500 teams have to be wins for the Pelicans. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. As we get down to this, to the crunch, all wins matter right now. Definitely, as we are basically 6 games from the top team, which is the Nuggets right now. The Clippers, who just ahead of us, are 2.5 games ahead of us according to the standings. And then, of course, you see other teams there. But if anything can happen now, if the Pelicans lock in and we get the majority of these games, who knows how far they can climb? Hell, they can climb up into the top 2, maybe the best team in the Western Conference, dare I say, if they lock in. They definitely have the talent. Everything's on our side. Shout out to our physical therapist, top trainer there, Amy. Shout out to her, working her magic, because this is terrific. Amy Atmore, man, is making a hellified difference here. Trust me. It's just a different feeling, getting a lot more out of Zion. Zion is in great shape. BI and Zion are playing really well together. And like you alluded to earlier, you just mentioned it about Valanciunas. That's the only key thing right there that they kind of have to kind of work on a little bit better. I respect the small ball lineups that Willie has, but Willie doesn't play. He has 2 7-footers on the bench that, that's not on the bench, but Valanciunas kind of being relegated to where he is. And of course, you got Zeller as a guy at the back of the bench who has height as well. But Willie likes those small switch all lineups with guys moving around. Uncle Robinson did a fantastic job. Can't be mad at that. But still in all, a lot of positives the Pelicans are doing right now. They're playing with a good mix of energy, especially tonight. Love the mad dog energy that Zion Williamson is playing with now. And see, the thing about it, he's taken to the challenge, I want to say, with the NBA referees. He's pissed off about not getting those calls. And instead of him kind of dialing it back, he's being even more aggressive to kind of things. So that is really driving him largely. A lot of that is kind of fueling that fire, as well as the Pelicans are just using that as converting a lot of that negative energy into positive help to help them propel them further into getting these wins and keeping that energy high. So much that's well said there.
It really seems like that that memo that they sent out to all the teams. Did you hear about that? As far as the reffing, allowing not making as many calls.
Right.
And I think that's kind of interesting that they wanted to come out with that now, especially the fact that really I kind of feel like nothing has changed for Zion. I think they've made changes with other guys, but he's still not getting the whistle like he should. Like Antonio Daniels was crazy. He was like, when Zion went across the lane, Zion was hit 3 times. Like it was apparent that he was hit 3 times. And
That's
they
true.
called the foul on the 3rd time he was hit. And Zion just had that look. He looked at the ref and just kept staring him down, and then he flexed his arm. But that stuff right there is sad, man. And then if Zion bumps anybody, it's not even a foul for real. They'll call it. Like, they're so quick with the whistle. And I'm like, man, y'all gotta be kidding me. This is ridiculous. Look, Zion got to be tackled before they call foul for him.
Yeah.
But he gives he don't even barely have to touch a role player, a star, anybody, and it's called as a foul, man. It's just I mean, I know we've talked about this stuff, but just seeing that on tonight, and Antonio Daniel was like, yeah, they called it took them 3 times, but they did call it. They did call him, Joel. They called it. You know what I'm saying? I was
Yes.
like, man, this is that's just pathetic that he
Yeah.
has to go through this, because a foul is a foul. It's not hard to, they're making this like rocket science, and it's not rocket science.
Well, Lex, I mean, you're right. I thought that that's overwhelming amount of teams are complaining about this because it's not. You watch a few other games, you'll see the officiating is consistently bad in majority of these games. Like you'll see, and it's like you have some staffs that in recent past you will have some staff, the referee staff, that come in and they will actually do a pretty decent job. They will call a fair game, but the majority of these games that we see from different officiating staffs are all consistently poor. Tonight was a awful display of refereeing tonight. It wasn't as bad as some of the other games. Like in recent memory, one of the most terrible officiated games was the Miami game where they were actually
Yeah,
started fighting in the game because
yeah,
of the
and that
poor.
was their fault.
That was the officials' fault, and none of them. Like I said, next time that happens, I'm gonna have to do a better job of kind of spotlighting that because I let them get from up under that. I should have just attacked that like a mad dog because they threw these guys and suspended these guys for fighting, but the referees were the reason why all that happened. They didn't officiate the
Yeah,
game correctly. It was poor, but on the
it's like
screen,
accountability, is only, it's only convenient for specific people, which I think is really, same thing with integrity. I'm like, look, it has to be consistent across the board. You can't pick and choose, when you want to have accountability. I mean, the thing is, I understand what they're trying to do. I get it. But if it's wrong, I mean, you have to address that stuff. You have to. Um, they were I do want to mention this real quick. They were talking about Gobert. I'm pretty sure you all probably heard about it, but he did the money sign with the
right,
referees.
right,
And he was fined $100,000. And on TNT they talked about it. And Barkley was asking everybody, the panel, what they felt about it. But basically Barkley felt like, he can't do that. Because the thing is, the last thing that you want is for fans to think that the game is rigged. Like it's really set and things like that. And fans do talk about that, but it's like, well, if you don't want people to think that, then call the game correctly. It's not hard. You know, I totally get it, because you don't want that. I mean, that's part of the product. That's part of the game, is that you don't want people to feel that way. Gambling is already an all-time high as far as, FanDuel and DraftKings and all that stuff. So the thing is that if you don't want players to do that, or due to how the fans may take that, and if the NBA didn't do anything, then I don't know what needs to be done. Maybe better training, or just really better consistency. I don't know what the answer is, but the thing is that if you're not calling these games correctly, because this is not just with the Pels. I've watched other games and I've seen horrible calls. Like, people, that's not like, I'm not even a fan of this team. I'm watching it, just, because I enjoy watching the game. But it's like, dude fouled him. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to make these calls. Like, they're just doing a poor job. Just doing a poor job.
yeah. See, the issue is too, and I've talked about this for some time, for years, about the NBA. The NBA is ran by lawyers. I mean, I don't like I often joke about. I don't even think these guys can dribble a ball, but they control the players of the league. They set policy. A lot of the officials draw the bad energy from the family base, that a support base of the NBA, because that's how it's designed to be. Like the referees, they draw the attention, they draw the ire. But really, the league really needs to start penalizing referees when they make bad calls, but you don't see much of that because a lot of them are instruments for what the NBA wants to do, like in terms of that. So that happens in the NFL. But you're exactly right. When you talk about the gambling angle, that is definitely a part of it. That's definitely a part of it. That is a big part of it. Anytime, because these leagues, NFL made record money last year. Everybody they're trying to turn everybody into a bunch of gamblers. They market it and making it so easy. They incorporated all this technology. You can bet on anything and everything. It's ridiculous. It's terrible. But they've gotten to the point where this is where they go. They don't have any cutoff points. So when you start attacking their integrity, because that's why David Stern in his old time ways, and he did it the right way. He wanted no part of Las Vegas. He didn't want any NBA teams there. He didn't want the public attention for the NBA and that league to be attached to Vegas. But the guy he trained, boy, he don't have no problem taking them right through there. And he's even going to give them a team, them and Seattle. So eventually, that'll be there. But that's a big part of them making, tens of billions of dollars in extra revenue. So, and that's
That
a
was a good
corruption.
point that you made there.
It's a corruption angle because when the money's there with the betting, Lex, that's what you're gonna get out of it. But go ahead, what you was gonna say?
No, I was just saying that was a good point. As far as not having anything to do with Vegas, but I think there's another part of that where staying competitive. I think when you look at the big three, the Drew League, I think there's a league down in Miami. I don't know all the names of them, but there's a lot of leagues that are coming about, that are making, I guess the NBA looks at those as direct competition. And so I think these are just ways to kind of make the brand bigger. Obviously, if Vegas is involved, you're talking about a lot of money. I mean, the WNBA, the Las Vegas Aces, they're there. And obviously you can see why the WNBA needs it, because it makes sport, just a bigger brand for the WNBA. But I think the NBA looking at it is like, hey, we could get a piece of that as well. Henceforth, things in the next 5 years maybe could change for the Pelicans as far as the Pelicans moving to the East. Same thing with Memphis. Now, I think Memphis would go first. I don't know if they plan on adding those franchises for, what is it called? The Super Seattle. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know if they plan on adding both Seattle and Vegas at the same time, but whatever happens, basically the two teams being looked at to move over to the East would be Memphis and the Pelicans. So it would have a direct effect on definitely on this franchise, but definitely it's about that money. It's definitely about that bread.
Yeah, and when you start talking about the integrity of the game, that's when they get their backs up. Like, because if you challenge, that's one of the things you can do. They don't play with the integrity because they don't have any. They don't have any integrity. Anytime you would officiate games or not make calls because they're looking at the speed of the game, they don't want to slow the game down even more than what it's being slowed up. They like the fast pace scoring asset of it or the angle of it to keep people more engaged. So they've actuaried this. They have the formula. They have all the analytics. They pay attention to all of the stats and actually ran studies on this. They know exactly where they aiming this thing. This is not an experiment at all. They know exactly what they need to do to bank out. So it's just the greedy angle of professional sports when people, that's their centered focus on just making as much money as they possibly can. This is a part of it. So the game suffers as a result of their greed, and you see corruption leak in, especially with the officiating. And now it's so blatant that people, even some novice that watch the game, can say that's not how it's supposed to go. This is ridiculous. That guy was supposed to make that call. And, Jose gets elbowed in the nose and in front of the referee. He looks at him and just goes up the court like nothing. The guy's, I think he busted his lip. It's just ridiculous. He got blood on his in the corner of his mouth and everything, telling the referee you didn't see what happened to me. But I guarantee if a Portland guy would have got hit that if a Portland guy would have got hit in his face, he would have got the call. It's just stupid. But at the
And
end
you
of the
think
day, man, we just got to play through that crap, you know.
you think the Pels would get calls against a very
Policy
horrible
nasty.
Portland Blazers team? It's
Uh,
like so the Pels don't have politics on their side.
All
We're
I know
playing
is this:
a team that's not even like they're at the bottom of the West.
I don't
Like,
get, I don't,
golly, man. I mean,
I don't
because
get that angle, Lex. I don't understand.
you like to allude it to, okay, maybe it's politics, maybe it's favoritism, but it's like, okay, what? I mean, clearly the Pels are in the playoff picture. This team has, is a bottom feeding team. You got to make those calls. I mean, something, and the Pels are at home. It
Yeah,
just it doesn't add up.
they're not quite the darling to the NBA as they are to us, obviously, right? I mean, eventually, once they get there, and because I'm telling you what, Pelicans stay healthy, they get to the playoffs, they're gonna win. They will win and if they bring their game, let me just say that they
Yeah.
bring their A game and they're locked in. They're
Well,
gonna win.
hopefully,
They'll win a first round series, and they're
hope,
deep enough and good enough to go to to the second round and beyond. A lot of people right now don't understand what's working. You starting to see a few people. Like I post videos here, people send me about what they're saying, and you start seeing the narrative shipping because people didn't realize how good the Pelicans. They're starting to realize that after all the years of Zion's, getting hurt, the team not playing together, that they are healthy. They're realized in part, and they're playing really good basketball. I think the statistics showed that this is the first time since 2011 team that the Pelicans, they're 15 games over 500. First time since 2011. So the Pelicans are playing a very high grade of basketball right there, and majority of it is consistent. They are winning on the road, and they're equally winning at home. They're one game better on the road than they are at home. So they are a complete team in terms of how they're playing. Because you can't say, well, you just take them outside the building into other people building, they'll fall apart. No, they're equally
sometimes
good.
we'd rather them be outside the building.
Right. They do look like they play better on
Be
the
like,
road.
nah, you better be careful what you ask for. That's why I was saying, being in that fifth
Mhm.
spot, if this is, where we end up staying, or if we move to the fourth, I feel just as good about them being in that fifth spot as I do in the fourth spot. Because the thing is, the Pelicans play way better when they're on the road compared to when
Right.
they're at home. But
Right.
they still play well at home.
Right.
So, I mean, we're actually in a good position. Like it's not necessarily a bad thing. And that's one thing that you definitely want to have, because they've said this many times before in the playoffs, is that the playoffs do not start until a team wins on the road. That's perfect for the Pels because we know that they can get one on the road.
This is
We know
true.
they can do it. So that's kind of like half the battle, like right there. The playoffs do not start within a series. That series does not start until a team wins on the road, because you've taken home court advantage. So that's a good thing. But the thing is, when we get home, we can't get the home court advantage back. That's the only thing. So
Right. All right. So before we tip out of here, hey, Ego Trip, man, shout out to y'all. I like that name, the Las Vegas Bandits. Yeah, that's a pretty good name right there. The
why?
Las
Because they be
Vegas
stealing in Vegas or something.
Right. Oh yeah, they stealing. They definitely stealing.
Thought they steal everywhere.
They known
Or
for
the
it.
Las Vegas gamblers.
Oh yeah,
You know what I'm
yeah. The
saying?
cameras,
But they
that
probably won't use that
yeah,
one. Look, they
yeah,
could have well, I don't know. The Las Vegas Aces, they have
yeah,
the card. Or
yeah.
what are those are they called tokens or coins? The chips, Las
Oh,
Vegas chips.
The chips are the betting chips. I think it is. I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
The
they
chips.
can be the Las Vegas chips.
But see, they could play into the outlaws. It's got to be something, the renegades, something like that. You know, the bandits is perfect. You
Oh,
know, they
okay.
can't,
You talking about slot machines? My bad. Hey, I'm
yeah,
sorry. I don't know a whole lot about that
that-
world, but
right. To see that's perfect. So shout out to Ego Trip. That's the perfect name for them. If you made that up or you heard them say that, that would definitely be a perfect name for the Las Vegas gambling ass culture and whatnot. But anyway, before we go, fam, let's play a little bit of Zion. He talked tonight about the game. Let's hear from him before we get ready to depart. Here.
Our defensive communication, we had to sharpen up some things that we weren't really doing in the first half, but once we sharpened those things up, we were good.
Yeah, I mean, athletically, I mean, it looks like you've really made a ton of steps in the past few months. Just what do you think has allowed you to get to this place where you are now?
Just stacking my days. Trying not to do everything at once, just taking it day by day, and just over time, just seeing the results.
Yeah, I mean, is it just about like consistency? Like that's kind of the main thing.
Yeah, just staying consistent with extra work and extra conditioning.
And for you, just how much does the game change when you're grabbing, 8, 9, 10, 12 boards? Does the game kind of feel different for you when you're, making that kind of impact on especially the defensive glass?
Absolutely, because then I don't even have to look for an outlet. It's I just get the rebound and push it in transition.
And then just with Trey shooting the ball the way he has lately, how much has that kind of affected the offense, and especially for you, just giving you additional spacing out there?
It's been good to see Trey shoot the ball like that, because his confidence is there. Trey can go over 8, over 10 for all I care, but as long as he's shooting it with confidence, I'm good. So just to see Murph really having his confidence back is all I really care about.
And y'all didn't have that complete group tonight, but one of the lineups Willie's been going to a lot is you with the 4 bench guys, Trey, Jose Najee, and Larry. What are you seeing out there when y'all 5 are out there together that's allowing y'all to kind of take off on?
Our pace, our mindset with that group is, get stops and run. And if they score, don't dwell on it. Just inbound the ball and push it up the court.
Z, in the middle of November, you told us you were going to take a back seat. Can you articulate just how different things are now? What kind of headspace you're in, physically, mentally, everything?
I wasn't where I needed to be. I talked to CJ and I talked to BI about it at the beginning of the season, and CJ definitely stepped up. I don't think he gets enough credit for that, especially early in the season. CJ really stepped up for this team. BI is BI. Like, I don't even got to talk about how great BI is. But CJ really stepped up for this team early in the season, and even halfway, just being a leader and just having a huge impact on the game while I was stacking my days and getting to where I needed to be. And like I said, over time, my coaches and my teammates, they saw it and they trusted me, and they're continuously trusting me. So I got to give CJ his respect on that, and BI.
Hey, Zion, kind of looking ahead a little bit. This team's played pretty well on the road. Like, what do you kind of attribute that success to on the road?
I said in a press conference, it's our personalities that we have on this team. When we're on the road, something about going on somebody else's turf and getting a win, just like we thrive for that. I know last year we didn't do too well on the road, so this year for us to be doing as good as we are on the road is definitely a step in the right direction. You guys have a great night.
All right. Well, Zion, man. And like I said before we jump out of here, man. Lex, you heard old Zion break down a few things. Let's kind of delve into some of the stuff that actually get you kind of your analysis on what he says. Also, there's a poll up that I put up. Should the Pelicans re-sign Najee Marshall? I know that's something that we got to deal with coming up on the off season. But man, the way Najee Marshall has been playing, I mean, my goodness, the way he's been playing, it's just been utterly ridiculous. So He's such an integral part about what we do here, and we kind of brung Najee up through the ranks, so to speak. Here, brung him up. Man, all I can say is when I see him play his defense, he's shooting the 3-pointer. I just think to myself, like, man, we thinking EJ Liddell could be the one to replace Najee Marshall, but man, and listen, it's not over with. The remaining games in the regular season, plus what Najee's going to bring in the playoffs, his intensity, his fight. Like I said, he's hitting the three. Him handling the ball, distributing the ball, passing the ball. Majority of all the pivotal and critical aspects of Najee's game have improved. I mean, he in most nights he's there defensively. He had the fantastic night when he was knocking down the 3-pointers. So that's one of the things I threw out there to the family members. I know we're going to be dealing with some questions monetarily speaking about Najee Marshall. So it'd be interesting to hear what they got to say. But let's talk about, any thoughts on what you heard from Zion, and ultimately you can lead into the Najee Marshall thing.
Yeah. Zion, he never really puts any emphasis on himself. He always gives props to his team and his coaches, and I actually commend him for that. I've actually noticed that since his Duke days, he never really, just how some guys kind of focus on themselves. Yeah, he really doesn't do that. He really doesn't. He's always finding ways to just give props and to give honor to to somebody else. So kudos to him on that, because to me, I feel like that's a great sign of leadership skills. To really recognize other people, and he's done that. Like even with I think he gave a shout out to even a local someone who designed his clothes one day. Like he actually gave them a shout out. Just things like that is like, I mean that that's really nice, man. You can't ask for much more than that. But definitely I like the fact that he's taking it one day at a time, stacking his days, not trying to do too much at one time, but staying in the realms of what the game calls for. I really do like that. And I think, and he's also trusting what he's been working on off the court, the extra conditioning, the extra, working with, Amy Atmore, with the trainers and things, to make sure that his body's right, getting his, stretches in, or, whatever he's doing. He's really locked in on the other parts, like the things that we don't see. He's locked in getting those things done and trusting his work behind the scenes, so that when he is out on the court, we as fans can enjoy the fruits of his labor behind the scenes. So I'm definitely like down for that. I think he's been doing a great job. It's time that we give Zion his flowers and praise him for what he's doing, because we don't truly understand what he goes through. We really don't. We talk about it all the time, but this man's dealt with scrutiny. He's dealt with, just ebbs and flows throughout the season. His body is unique. I know he has all the money in the world, but being 23, and trying to understand his body, you know, uh, everybody's body is different. There's some people who pick up weight a lot faster than other people. It could be genetics, and we know this stuff. We've heard from other people that dealt with those types of things, if that is the case, because again, we really don't know. But whatever he's doing, it is working. I think he's found an answer. Not only that, his body is adjusting to the NBA games and the stress that he is putting on his body. So that makes a huge difference. Sometimes with some guys, their bodies have to be trained for the rigorous season of an NBA season. So, I mean, it looks like it's coming into fruition. It just took some time to get there. So we're starting to see the fruits of that as well. But I enjoyed everything that he said. You know, we're enjoying it for sure. You know, we definitely see the differences, and he's stepping it up. You know, that's the cool thing about Zion is that he has other gears that he can go. I mean, and we haven't seen him in the playoffs yet, but there's still more that we've yet to see. So I'm excited. Yep, got a physical therapist, Slim.
Yeah, shout out to Amy Atmore. Everything you breaking down, Lex, about Zion Williamson, 100%. And you're right. Getting to that next level when you really see greatness.
Yeah,
Like there was some things that you seeing, like family, that's not supposed to happen for a big guy of his size. And Antonio Daniels, excuse me, done a really good job of pinpointing these things when they happen. He does. That's one of the gifts that he has. Like when he sees something as, he'll pinpoint and say, "Guy," I'm like, "You're absolutely right." Zion Williamson, when he got the ball, he was able to get past Scoot Henderson. I
yeah.
mean, he did it several times.
And Scoot Henderson is quick, you all. He's
Right,
very quick.
right. And Lex, the move where the alley oop was thrown to him.
Oh yeah, I was
him knocking
I was
out.
waiting till you finished talking so I could mention it, but yeah, you got to it first.
Right. I mean, it's like every game is one of those plays. Like he got the ball from not exactly the other end of the court, but he was able to, what was it, 3.6 seconds or something, and was able
Yeah,
to
like
do the entire
3.5.
team. Right,
Yeah,
3.5, and he got all
he
the
was
way.
moving.
Right. So I'm like, that's a big guy right there for the Pelicans, handling the ball and doing that through the Clippers' entire team on the
Yeah,
court to get that. Then he finished with the layup with the guy trying to block him out. He was able to get that to go down. So I mean,
yeah.
he and
And
then
that actually could
he
have been
was
an
making
and
too.
one.
Yes, it should have been an and one, right?
Because you see a lot of guys when Zion is going up for an alley oop, they're backing into his legs while he's airborne. And I think that's
Yes,
why a lot of times Zion doesn't jump as high sometimes because when he comes down, I mean, you know, because it's like they do
crashing
that stuff
style.
on yeah.
Yeah, he
He's
crashed.
going to come down like bad. Like he could like something like he could break his arm, turn his arm the wrong way, his wrist, anything. Like that stuff is dangerous, man. And you know, they do that so he can think about it because they know the dude can jump out the gym.
That's right. Yeah, that's exactly what that. That's
But
exactly
they do need to now that's one thing I would be very, very vocal about because that stuff is dangerous. You're talking about Zion's already dealt with injuries. And that could really like jack him up and set him back a lot if they continue to do that. That's something that the organization they really do need to address that part. Like, hey, they can't do that type stuff. Zion cannot protect himself once he's in the air and that defender is they're backing into him while he's airborne. I mean, that's more than a flagrant two. I mean, because the thing is, if Zion is out the next few games, or you know, depending the severity of him coming down, and you're talking about not gravity pushes you down 10 miles per hour. Okay. Now add in that muscle that Zion is carrying, coming down along with, the speed of gravity. That and then, just the angle, that could be really bad. But I would definitely say something like they really need to be aggressive about that because I kind of feel like that's not the only time I've seen it. It's happened many a times this season. And, I'm telling you that could change some things, man. And that would I know one thing that would definitely make the fan base sick if you know if the worst would happen. You know what I'm saying? Especially with everything that he's been through so thus far.
Yeah, when in, and I got it on screen. The guy backed up under him, and you can see right here he's talking, and he pointing. He's talking about the guy backed up under him. He
Yeah.
does a job of pinpointing all of this stuff during the game and talking to the officials. And that's one thing I applaud the Pelicans for, is that they're not going to take the Herb Jones approach. The Herb Jones approach, you'll see Herb banter with him every now and again, but for the most part, Herb don't tell him nothing. A lot of these other guys, especially Zion's. Zion has to be more vocal. You see Bi doing it as quiet as he is. Though you gotta talk and tell him, like Jose is just talking to him, but not being disrespectful, just pinpointing and tell him, man, you missed that, this, that, and the third. Watch this. And you gotta do that. You gotta talk to these guys, regardless whether it helps or not, because that's a part of the process. While they're doing that on the court, the Pelicans brass need to be doing that at the executive level with the NBA. And it's
Yeah.
definitely a concern with other people when you're talking about players' health, because we don't want our guy, our superstar, to be the reason why they ultimately decide to take it serious, because they were supposed to make a call because the guy is backing up under his feet. I'm starting to see plays where they're not even officiating and calling it, where guys are running right near where the feet are coming down. That happened several times in the game tonight when Bi was taking shots and the defenders would get right around his feet. And you can see him having that concern, like you have to have a safe area to land. And they're
Yeah.
being real too comfortable with allowing that to happen. They're not officiating the way they're supposed to. So I hate to make it about the officiating, but that's going to be a portion of what
But
happened.
that's real though. I mean, that's the safety of the players. And not only that, I mean, you're talking about Zion is an investment. All these players are an investment. You're paying these players. You want them
That's
to
right.
be healthy so that they can play. That's what makes the NBA product, you know, you know, survive. I mean, the product on the floor has to be right. And if it's not, then, if you don't have those guys on the floor, then people come to see the stars play. I mean, they do come and see, the team, but the stars need to be playing. Like, I mean, that's just the way it is. That's what allows the business to thrive. Just think if LeBron's not playing, I mean, you don't think that's gonna hurt if Steph's not playing.
Oh,
Like
exactly. Yes.
when they go to other cities, like, people are excited. Oh yeah, look, even if you don't even like Steph, I'm just using this as an example. If you don't even like him, you know what? If you're watching the game and it's like, okay, we're watching Giannis and oh, Steph ain't playing. Oh man. Well, at least Giannis is playing. You know what I'm saying? People want to see competition. They want to see a game. They want to see a good game. No matter if you like the opponent, team player or not, they want to see a good game. You want to see the competition. So again, that helps the product. And if those guys are not present, it changes the whole complexity of the game and the product that you're introducing to the fans.
Yeah, because it's a star-driven league, man. A
Yes.
lot of times these players are the reason why people are tuning in, and they want to see the shots of the 10, 15, 20, the half-court shots by Steph Curry and others.
Yeah.
So you're absolutely right. Zion's athleticism, dunking on people. I mean, like you seen it in what was the last away game that we had when Zion was out there catching alley-oops, and they were
Yeah.
eyeing over.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
yeah, they get into that stuff. I mean, it makes for a good show. Even if you want your team to win, people want to see competition. They want to see guys compete, and they want to see the best go up against the best.
right. All right. So fam, listen, shout out to the fam. Appreciate y'all being with us in the stream. Please feel free to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. Tonight we're not going to be opening the lines. Like I said, I have a live stream later on tonight. So shout out to you guys. We'll open up the phone lines on the next one, the next Friday stream, man. I promise. Like I said, it's a conflict of interest right now in terms. I got another stream I have to do, a Saint stream, matter of fact, that I'm working on. So also little update on DC, man. DC is fine. Like I said, a lot of the family members asking about DC. DC had him and his lady had a beautiful baby girl in DC, and this lady kind of focused on that right now. They're gonna get settled. So let's just give him a little room and a little time, and he'll be back real soon. And we can make all the Rastafarian jokes that we want to do, and all the coaches. So y'all just keep him piled up and hit him with him when he
And the
gets
premier, he's a busy
right,
guy. His
right,
movie just came out and
right.
things. So,
He just had the movie,
got to
so
do, yeah.
he got right. He got a lot going on, man. The
He's
movie just
touring,
dropped.
doing interviews and stuff.
All that, you know what I'm saying? So he got the baby, the movie. So DC's real busy right now. So y'all just give him a little time on that. Shout out to DC. Much love to him, man. I talked to him today, man. He chilling, man. I was trying to slip in a few jokes right on him, stuff like that, but he was chilling. You know how I do. All right. So anyway, let me and this is the thing, fam. We put the poll up about Najee Marshall, and
Yeah. I
and of
didn't
course,
answer that.
the poll was, should the Pelicans re-sign Najee Marshall? Now, early on in the year, that might have seemed like, oh, that's easy, Q. Nah, we can't afford him, this, that, and the third. But fam, after the All-Star break, and you see some of when injuries pop up and how really critical Najee Marshall is to that second unit. And he comes in, he handles the ball, he directs the ball, he makes passes, he plays defense, he shoots threes, he's starting to shoot threes now. So it's a terrific thing going on. So go ahead. Right now, the poll is 89% of the people versus 11% of the people saying no, we shouldn't, but 89% say yes, we should. What you think, Lex?
It kind of depends. It depends on how much Najee Marshall is asking for. So what do we see as his worth? Like, what is he worth? Or what is he getting paid now? And I guess what's the perspective price that he's asking for?
That's a good question. What would be the value of a Najee Marshall right now? He making 1.9 million for the Pelicans, so it's basically a steal for Najee right now. 1.9.
Okay. So how much do in the chat? How much do you all feel Najee is worth? Like if they were to give him, the Pels were able, to resign him, how much do you feel like, based off of what you see and what he can do for the team, what do you feel like he should ask for, or what you're willing to, or what would be the peak, I guess, that he would get paid to keep him?
Yeah, that's the question, Lex. I don't that would be something. I would have to get a comparative contract for another person. What would be a comp?
Oh, that's a good thing. So who does he compare to around the league? You know what I'm
J,
saying? And how
J,
much do they get?
look at this, Lex. 2.5 to 3 million. Maybe he's making 1.9 now. $3 million doesn't sound like a hefty
Okay.
amount of money. I mean,
Okay.
would that be a feasible thing? What between J Black thinking 2.5, 3, maybe 4 mil for Najee Marshall a year? For Najee, would you guys be cool with a 12
Okay.
a 3-year contract for 12 to 15 million for Najee Marshall? How's that sound? Would that be something
Yeah.
that beneficial? I mean, what you think about that, Lex?
Well, DB said 4 mil for 2 years.
I don't know about that because he making what 1.9 now.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of level it up.
Yeah.
I'm thinking maybe
I think at least
more like
double.
this. Right. Yeah, I'm
I
thinking.
I don't think it would be 10 mil. How much is Jonas making right now?
Jonas is about, if I'm not mistaken, about 15 million. Hold on, let me look at it. I think it's 15.4 for Jonas right now. He making 15 million. So we
And
know.
over a course of how many years?
Well, he has 1 year
Because
left.
he was
So it's
on a
like,
2-year, right?
I think well they extended him out on a 2-year extension, and right now I think it's 15 point something or other. What is it? 15.4 mil for him currently. It's for Jonas. So that's the thing. I still like the 4 to 5 million a year for Najee, 2 or 3 year
Yeah.
deal for Najee. I mean, I
And
think we can.
I
Yeah,
think
go
at
ahead.
the most would be what Slim said, 3 years for 18 mil.
3 years, 18 mil. So that would be
I don't
roughly
know.
6 million a year.
Yeah, but I don't know because you have to
6 mil.
think Najee comes off the bench and what is he at? He's 7 points. Got 7 points per game. Yeah, I'd probably say maybe 4 or 5. Now, as far like for a year, so I guess the question would be the amount of years that we would sign him to. And really, I probably say they give him a 1, maybe a 2-year extension, to be honest. Because you have to
Alexis,
think,
he's 26. He's 26. So a 2 year extension, maybe a 2 or 3 year extension wouldn't be a bad thing for Najee Marshall. And I know
well,
you,
this
you
is
know,
the thing. This is the
yeah.
thing.
Mhm.
You still have Trey Murphy. You know how they're going to do with him. You still have Brandon, and you still have Jonas. Now with Jonas, I hate to think that they're just going to
I
let him
think
walk.
I think that's what it's going more than likely, unless it's some type of, I don't know, sign and trade or something. I mean, I guess that's,
Yeah.
it could be something like that, but I hope it's not just that they just let them walk and they get absolutely nothing for
Look,
them.
if
I
they
don't
let
know.
Jonas walk, that's going to be really, really bad. But I think it depends because this comes down also to the hierarchy. That's just like when they signed Zion to his contract. Zion was first priority. Why? Well, I mean, he's Zion. Second priority was CJ to give him his extension. Third was Larry Nance. And I remember when they had that interview, like, because Larry was like, yeah, first they had to take care of Zion, then CJ, then me. So I think in this case, it's 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 basically the same thing. Obviously, Najee's not going to be the first that they, address. It's going to be Brandon. It could be Trey first, but Brandon, Trey, um, I don't know, man, because JV, he's at the end of his contract, so JV might be pushed to the front because they can still wait a year for Trey and Bi, right? Isn't that correct? They don't have to give them a contract
Uh,
extension this
uh,
year.
right. So yeah,
So
because
it may be JV then. It may be him, and then
here you got it right here, Lex, on the screen right here. This is
okay,
yeah, you got Jonas. He was an unrestricted free agent, bird rights. Zeller, unrestricted free agent, 9 bird. And then you have Jose with club money on him, and Jeremiah Robinson Earl, both at just Jose with 2 and Jeremiah Earl at 2.2. Najee at unrestricted free agent, bird status, just like Jonas is. But and then you got 2 restricted 2-way contracts with both Darion C. Brown and Matt Ryan. So yeah, you can see Jonas is in the money at 15, just over 15 million there. And like I said, if that's the case and Bell and Zeller's gone, that automatically opens up $18 million between V and Zeller if that's the move. Like I said, I don't know how they're
that's
gonna
the
play with
thing.
Jonas.
Yeah, Jonas, but having a big man is very important. I'm not saying Najee's not, but we got to have a big man because,
That might be something they pursue in the draft though, Lex. Or they'll find a cheap big man that can bring in here that can run the floor. See, but that doesn't change. Like the switch off philosophy that Willie's rolling out, he likes the smaller guys because they can move in the way that he wants them to. And like I said, that could be on the docket because they did look during before the trade deadline to see if they can locate and find somebody that will work with them. They ultimately didn't pull anybody in, but they were looking for centers that could fit that style of system they were trying to incorporate. So I don't know how they're gonna handle this. I thought that really you don't want to get to the point where you get Val in this position, and then you say, okay, that's sign and trade Val somewhere or whatever. I don't know how they're gonna play it, or they just let them walk out right. I've seen
Man, they
let
can't do
people
that.
walk
I
out.
mean,
I don't know how they're gonna play.
Jonas may not be an important, like valuable, like to other teams, but again, man, you can't. The dude is still skillful. There's a lot of foreigners, that are doing very well in the NBA. Actually, the top guys in the NBA are all from another country. And we actually have someone, maybe not as good as those guys, but you know, it's trending that way. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at, the foot speed of a Sabonis and, Jokic and all that stuff. And like I said, I know Jonas is not as good as those guys. He's still valuable. And for that reason, he's still valuable. Um, you
Mhm.
can't teach height either. You can't teach height, man. And he's the best rebounder on the team. So it's like, okay, if you get a running big man, hey, he better know how to rebound.
That attacks the offensive boards. That's
Yeah.
the
And
key.
he and can hit free throws and can
Yes,
shoot from three. You see what I'm saying? Like that's what Valanciunas brings. That's what he brings.
but if you,
And
I ain't got too many people. Well, that's a small list because, and then get them at the right price. That's a key sticking point on top of all those attributes that we were naming, is to get them at the right price because they're not working with a lot of money. And this is the 2025 list of free agents that's coming up. You can see BI is at the top of the list in 2025. Unrestricted, but the Pelicans have his bird rights. Larry Nance the same way. Dyson is on the club deal. So is Jordan Hawkins. Trey is restricted. Trey's restricted with
yeah,
with the Pelicans with the bird rights for some of the family members, and then you see other guys not even on the team. Josh Richardson, Jackson Hayes. You see EJ Liddell with the club tag with him. Jose Alvarado's unrestricted, but with the bird. So is Jeremiah Robinson Earl, and Malcolm Hill is also listed there as well. So yeah, 2025 is interesting, but like you said, you're looking at Brandon Ingram. What happens with Brandon Ingram? What happens, with Trey Murphy? He's restricted at 3.6, but do the Pelicans do anything there, or do they kind of work their magic? I don't know. It all depends, I think, on this playoff run and how the Pelicans look for this playoff match. That's what
man,
it really
I
comes
think you
down to.
read my mind, Big Q.
Oh yeah,
Because
that's
I
what it
was
comes down
thinking that, like maybe because I mean, really, I think that's why they didn't make any moves during the trade deadline. They didn't make any moves at all because I think the main focus was, hey, let's see what this squad can do. We've been waiting this long. I think they've been collecting data, and they're waiting to see to the end. I mean, it's the same thing with Willie too. Willie Green, his contract ends, uh, at the end of the season. So it's a lot that's going on, but I think those things matter. Like, because I think before we can really answer or really come up with an answer of if we should keep Najee or if we shouldn't, we have to look at, well, what are they going to do with BI? What are they going to do with Trey Murphy? What are they going to do with Jonas? Because if you're looking at, okay, who do we focus on first? You have to kind of go through that cycle. Obviously, Cody Zeller, he was only signed for 1 year. We may sign him again for like a 1 year dear veterans minimum. But like right now, those are the biggest names. And then at that, will the Pels even keep Willie Green? Because his contract is up this year, and for the longest, for most of the season, I didn't know that. I think either Jay Black or Mose or one of them they had mentioned that. So I think it depends on the other guys before they get to Najee. But if the goal is to improve this team, especially how seeing as how they perform in the playoffs. If they're able to see, and this is, I guess, looking at if they don't make it to the second round or make it to conference finals, or even if they do, okay, well, hey, we got to this point. You know what? Do we want to upgrade this position? I think somebody else mentioned Dyson Daniels. Do we want to value a little bit more Najee Marshall and be in the win now mindset and trade Dyson Daniels for someone? Because I mean, I don't even think about it as far as not having Dyson. Nothing against Dyson or anything, because the team has been playing well. Defensively, I think the whole team has really stepped up. So the focus is not leaning on Herb Jones, his defensive prowess, and Dyson Daniels. I think the fact that everybody's kind of stepped up and played, the team defense has gotten better. That may be something like, okay, well, hey, let's keep Najee because he is aggressive on offense as well, as much as he is on defense, whereas Dyson not so much. But Dyson has youth, right? Najee Marshall is how old? He's 26. How much better
Yes.
is Najee gonna get? What's his
Yes.
potential? You see what I'm saying? There's like so many questions
Right.
that you have to answer, and that goes back to, are we trying to win now, or do we want to continue to develop our young players and keep our young players and develop them, and move on from Najee because he is 26 and Najee's ceiling isn't that much more greater than what he's not going to get much better than what he is, basically.
The thing about Najee Marshall, like this season, like it's the consistency angle. He starts. Let me delve into some of the stuff, and the reason why I posed that question is because over the last several weeks, we've like seen Najee Marshall like have some really solid games for the Pelicans. Like him and Jose in some of these games, many of these games, not all of them, but a great deal of these games, the Pelicans starting five would come out of the game. They would be flat. Najee Marshall and Jose Alvarado would come in the game and flip the energy and help
Hmm.
jumpstart the team, and they'll start moving and shaking. And that's something that you cannot replace. Remember, we were very, very, very hesitant to get rid of Josh Hart because of what he brought to the team. We loved Josh Hart. We loved him diving on the
Yeah.
court, the loose balls, and the energy, the intensity, his defense. And we were fortunate enough from Josh Hart, we were able to get guys with a ferocity on the defensive end that start hitting their threes too, like Jose Alvarado, his energy, his effort, Najee Marshall, because those guys bring it in the second unit. They're perfect. Those guys are ready. Like if you need them to come in and give you good minutes, they'll give you good minutes. And I just find that extremely valuable. And now as we move into the season, we know we have our stars. We got to take care of our stars, but they
Yeah.
need good role players. And Najee Marshall came up as a Pelican. He fits them to a T. I don't think they'll be extremely expensive to keep Najee Marshall. That's just me. I like some of the ideas some of the family members was throwing out about Najee. But let's kind of look at his statistics this year, family, and just show you how valuable is Najee Marshall to the Pelicans. They better start paying attention because right now, like if you look at his numbers right now, his minutes are down. Like his minutes, he's averaging like 19 minutes a game versus last year when it was 23.3. And we know there was a lot of injuries that would happen where he was getting more minutes to get out there. But in so far in the season, he's averaging 19 minutes a game. He's averaging, 19 minutes a game. He's scoring about 7.3 points per contest. His field goal percentage is higher than it's ever been in his career, which was back in 22-23 season. He averaged over 43% from the field. He's averaging almost 46% from the field, Najee Marshall is. And he's shooting over almost 39% from downtown. His previous high was 35% when he first in his rookie year, when he played 32 games. But so far through 54 games, one start, Najee Marshall is his percentage, 3-point shooting percentage is almost 39% from downtown to go along with almost 46% from the field. So his rebounds are down, but his shooting, his 3-point shooting, his field goal percentage, all that is up. And he has a feel for the offense. Like I said, he fits perfectly. You put a Larry Nance in there, you put a Najee Marshall in there, you put a Jose Alvarado in there. You can move him in there with Zion. He throws them lobs. He sits in the corner. He's hitting his 3-pointers. So even though we know Herb is turned into a 3-and-D before our very eyes, we looking at Najee, and I'm not saying he's there yet, but Najee Marshall is making a name for himself. And like I said, we know about EJ Liddell and his potential. But right now, you asked the question, Lex, are the Pelicans are they wanting to win now? And I'm saying, yes, indeed, they have to win now. And this playoff season will be crucial to a lot of these decisions about Willie Green and about all these other players as well. How far do they get in the playoffs? That's what it comes down
There's
to.
a lot of questions that you just have to ask. There's always a lot of factors, and I think that's the thing. Just even looking around the league right now, like who would you see replacing a Najee Marshall? And then we also have to think that look at the fact that Slim said it, Najee ain't scared of Jimmy Butler, which comes to like the fact that Najee, he's about that life, basically. He's almost like, if someone is gonna get kicked out the game for, getting in a fight just like he did with Jimmy, you kind of need a guy like that. I know, I think it was with the Bad Boys, with Detroit, where the coach would actually have, I guess, Lambeer go in the game and purposely just, you know what I'm saying, just cause problems, and they're not the only
Yeah.
team,
Oh, he had several. They had
a lot of
several.
teams. I mean, if
They
you
had
think
several in
about it,
Detroit. They had
the
several in
Warriors,
Detroit that they'll roll out. With
the
Chuck
Warriors
Daly,
did, Kerr did that with Draymond.
right?
So the thing is that you have that guy on your team. Look, I want you to go in the game and I want you to foul they star player. I want you to foul them hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, especially in the playoffs, that stuff happens now. I think the game has changed in a lot of ways where they may not do that as much, not to that extent, but just having a guy like go in, look, go send that dude a message. Well, you have a guy like Najee who would be like, hey man, that was too much. You know what I'm saying? That will get in, that guy's face that comes in to do that type stuff. And hey, yeah, that's a problem. And obviously they call text and everything, but you almost have to have that guy who gets, takes the L. You know what I'm saying? Gets the tech or takes the risk of getting kicked out of the game to protect their star players. I mean, so if Najee leaves, who is that guy going to be? Not to say that, I mean, because you have to have that guy,
Right. Yeah, it's you mentioned the Detroit teams. Yeah, they had several of those guys that used to do that, Lex. They would send if it
Well, I know
wasn't
Lambeer. I didn't like it.
there was
Just saying, because he looked like man, you about to right out of the timeout. That dude's coming in with bad intentions.
right. Todd with the facts. He a NBA guy, so he knows what I'm talking about. When you would see guys like you have Lambeer that would piss people off, but he would send Rick Mahorn in there, John
Yeah.
Sally, Rodman was another dude. So
Yeah.
indeed, they were brutal guys. They would whip on, they would, do all this other stuff. So yeah, they would frustrate you
And
epically. So
you got to have a guy who can stand up to that. Because let me tell you something. I'm really glad that Najee, really got into Jimmy's face. And I think it's funny because I think Jimmy thought, oh, ain't nobody gonna step up to me. And because Jimmy grabbed, Najee's neck, like, dog, you ain't the only dude who about that life. You know, you know, like shoot, let me grab your neck back to send you a message. So, you know, because after that, you know, he kind of went off a little bit because I don't think he was expecting that. But it's good that we had that in Najee. But if he leaves, you know, who's gonna step up to that role? And I think that's the thing because you definitely have to have somebody who can have, Zion's back. Because really it's really been Zion because the fact that they haven't been calling you know these fouls with Zion, they haven't been calling it correctly. So I mean, I don't think it's a big deal with anyone else for real, like that, especially the way Zion hits the floor. But I mean, still, you gotta have that guy. You just have to have that guy. So I think that holds some weight as well as far as keeping him.
Yeah, that's what that was the point what I was making about when I was asking people because I know it's at at a time early in the years like, oh no, we got such and such. Man, let me tell you, you got this guy. Like I said, the Pelicans brought him up, and he is the enforcer. He's the
Mhm.
knife, and he's the guy that you will want to have as a role player. That comes in there, he fits perfectly with everybody. He's the right height. He guards multiple positions. He
Mhm.
handles all as a point forward at times for you. He distributed. He throws, uh, uh, alley oops, and he sets people up. He also can knock down an open shot. He drives when he needs to
Yeah,
drive.
he can attack.
And
He definitely attack.
he'll attack like when people not attacking and the ball is sticking. Najee gets the ball and he attacks the cup. He gets to the line. He hits the free throws. So, like I said, he's the perfect temperament. And I really don't think it'll be expensive, but like you said, things are going to be kind of tight. But anyway, to
Yeah.
kind of go over the recap of the poll, right now we have a bunch of people that kind of voted in should the Pelicans resign Najee Marshall. 82% says yes, 18% says no. So Najee, yes, signing Najee has won the poll tonight. So yeah, and like I said, man, we'll see how it all works at the
You
end of the
should
season.
definitely do more of those polls, Big Q.
Oh
I
yeah,
think,
oh yeah,
yeah, I think having some trivia questions or not questions, but having those type of polls would see what people really think.
yeah. That was a good one, Lex. I think I will take that suggestion and do more of those, man. And because yeah, that's a good one because we need to kind of put this stuff together. I think next time we'll kind of look at the Dyson Daniels thing because a lot of people like right now saying, man, we should trade Dyson, such and such, and I think he's at 5.7 mil or something like that on his rookie deal. But a case in point is, if not, a big part of Dyson's game is developing his offensive side. So we know he's very good defensively. He's gotten himself strong. He plays really solid defense. But could he follow a trajectory of a Herb Jones? Can he, like Herb did his defensive thing first and then just worked his ass off, got his offensive game down? Now he's knocking down the threes at a high clip. Could Dyson Daniels follow the same trajectory as a Herb Jones? You see what I'm saying? Because Coach Fred's work with him or is working with these guys, and Herb has really took his game to another level.
You know
Can
what
Dyson
though,
be the one that follows him too? That's a big question now.
man, Herb, man, there's something different about Herb. Herb has an edginess about him. You
Hmm.
know, I just kind of feel like plus he's a southern guy. But I don't know. Dyson, I mean, he's definitely a poor man's version of Herb. We see his defense, but like you said, I mean, the way that Herb, he's just taking steps. I mean, Herb, like, because in that class, Trey Murphy was picked at what? I know was he 14th pick in that class? No,
Oh, you
Trey
talking
Murphy.
Trey.
Yeah, because
Yes,
he was a lottery pick.
right. He was around there. Hold on, Lex. Let me
Around
pull
there,
up this
maybe
profile right
16.
quick
I
because I
know
know
he
it
was.
was somewhere in the middle of the draft there. Hold on, I'll pull it up as you could talk as you're talking. But yeah, let
But
me see
yeah,
Trey.
I mean, just the way that Herb
17, 17.
17. Okay, I knew it was close to a lottery, so he was just right outside. But Herb was second round, man. I mean, the way that he just worked, and that was when, for the most part, I think Zion was out for basically that whole year. But I mean, he worked his way into the starting lineup and hasn't really looked back since. You know what I'm saying? I know we've talked about, the changes in the lineups and things like that, but I mean, you just look at how Herb has been growing. You look at his consistency. You look at, the dude is a dog. He just I mean, just when you think it's like, oh, Herb can't do it. I mean, he really shut all the noise, like quick, fast, and in a hurry. We definitely see the value of having, Herb Jones. I mean, just, his work, that he's been putting in behind the scenes. I don't know if Trey Murphy, I know he steps in if somebody's injured, he steps into the starting lineup. But I mean, maybe some point in time, Trey gets there depending on the direction of the team, what pieces are being moved, and things of that nature. But definitely, I mean, it's almost, I mean, and what is he shooting from behind the arc? Like
Trey?
40%? No, Herbert Jones.
Oh, Herb. Oh,
Yeah.
Herb is shooting 43.4%. Excellent.
See, but you know what I'm saying? I
It's,
mean,
it's Lexus, it's a 10% increase from what he
yeah,
did last year. Ridiculous.
that's and then really now the talk is Herb is underpaid. That was a
Wait for
that
that.
was that was that was a power move for the
Yes.
Pelicans to sign him,
Right. Shout
last
out to
season.
Trains and Langdon. Shout out to Trains and
Yeah,
Langdon
that
for
was
getting
definitely a power move because when you look at Herb's game now, the dude is a definitive two-way player. So it's like, man, now the talk is, man, Herb ain't being paid enough. And from the looks of it, I know a lot of people were saying with Trey, Trey, he's looking at getting like 80 mil. But really, it's like, we know for sure. I'm not saying Trey doesn't deserve that, but we know for sure Herb Jones definitely deserves that.
Yeah, the thing about it too, Lex, is we know Herb is seen as a defensive guy, but he has career numbers across the
Yeah.
board. He's averaging more points than he ever did before. His high
And
was 9.8. He's averaging 11 flat. He's shooting 51.4% from the field. He's shooting 10% better than what he did last year, which was 33.5. He's shooting 43.4% from downtown, Lex.
Mhm.
Now he's not averaging as many rebounds or stuff like that. He's doing the same with the steals, amount of steals. He's doing a little bit better with the blocks. So a lot of his really key numbers are up. But what's really striking is his field goal percentage and the 3-point ball, which is 43.4%. Lex,
Yeah.
that's better than Trey's 37.6. So he's shooting the ball really well, man.
Yeah, and can we say first team all defense?
We better because we
I mean, hey, I mean, if he gets that, if you get those type of, and they may have in his contract that if he, because I think that's in a lot of people's contract. If you get, first team all defense or defensive player of the year, MVP, any of that, you know what I'm talking about.
Right.
If you get any of that, you get bonuses. So that may be in his contract. I hope it is. I really hope it is. Hope you
incentive. Yeah.
let that part hurt. You know what I'm saying? Because if that is in his contract, he's definitely gonna get a bonus because man, hey, if that block on Paul George, okay.
Yep.
For some people, Paul George is their GOAT. We've heard that I think you have heard that. Paul George is a legitimate, he's a solid two-way player. I mean, he's a star in this league. So to do that to someone like Paul George, that's got to speak volumes. It's got to speak volumes. And I hope they see that, because it's like, oh man. And Paul George even said, man, I've never had anything like that happen to me before. When you think about guys who defended Paul George, like you're talking about going all the way back to when he was in Indiana, going up against the Miami Heat with D Wade, LeBron, and Chris Bosh. You know what I'm saying? They didn't do that to him. Herb
Right.
Jones blocked his shot. Like, that dude has a pretty solid release. So for that to happen to him, like that, I mean, that's got to speak volumes. It's got to be kind of like icing on the cake, like a shoe in, no doubt.
Yeah, that yeah, Lex, and listen, fam, and what I got on the screen right here is this is a shirt that I designed last year when I
Mhm.
was saying he should have got it. It's the Not On Herb DPOY Defensive Player of the Year. I had this done last year because I said, man, he should be. This is what I thought of Herb Jones. So this is available in the Pale shop, man. You can get you one. It comes in all kind of colors. We have it in different merch as well. But man, listen, this was what I was talking about last year, talking about Herb Jones and what I thought about him, man. And also it's the other one too, the Straight Jacket Jones.
Oh yeah, that one was tight.
Yeah, so we got that one up there too, and this other stuff too. Like the Magnum BI gear is really tight. A lot of people like the Mount Valachunas, and I mean the Mount Zion shirt and the Valachunas shirt and all this kind of stuff. And we got a few more that'll be coming out soon too. So for the merch, but DP Defensive Player of the Year, our guy, Herb Jones. My bad, AD. Herb Keyshawn Jones. There you go. There you got to say the whole thing. Antonio Daniels. Shout out to that.
Whole government name.
The whole thing. I see you.
Everybody knows your name, Herbert.
Herbert Keyshawn Jones. All right, there you go. All right. All right. So anyway, Lex, any last words before we end the stream?
Oh man, we hit some really good topics, Big Q.
Yeah.
A lot of good topics. But yeah, we'll have to catch up on this on next week, most definitely, because it was good stuff. Because we could go on and on about this stuff, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, we just got to keep going, got to keep building, getting better, and see what awaits for us when we play the right way. I think we'll definitely be in a good place, but we can't settle, we can't be complacent. Got to just keep getting better and keep going up.
Right. And I agree. And like I said, man, we got a fantastic squad, man. We just got to, like you said, we got to use that C word, consistency. We got to play with that. We got to play with the edge. We have to be consistent. And like we're saying, we're in that stretch of games, man, where we got, what is it now, family? How many games we have remaining right now, Lex? Is it about 16 games? Is it 18? I keep always thinking to myself it's less than that. Well, let me just give it a little check right quick, because I know see if I can share it on the screen here. This is what we're dealing with. I think let me see if I can count them down here. Let's see.
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
You said yesterday was 19. You said 15, DB?
Is it 50? I think it's less than that, Lex. Like I said, about 16 or 17 games.
Oh, shoot. Look, let's keep regular season going.
Yeah, is it like 15 games? Not because because we had the two back-to-backs, the games, like, you got the Friday game, then the Saturday game. It peels off quick. We had the, was it Wednesday? When was they played?
Counting it. What?
Yeah, in the span of
we
what?
played 2 games ago. Oh, no, Cleveland.
Yeah, right.
I think Cleveland, it was at like 19, wasn't it?
Right. So in a span,
17, right?
in a span of like 3 or 4 days, you lost 3 games. So it's like, I think it's 16 games. I want to say it's 16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 games.
Dang.
15
I
games.
get stuck on. I'm trying to figure out what happened.
I know they're running. They're going pretty fast, especially when you see back to back.
I didn't realize regular season was coming to a close, man. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, we
Look,
got
it's
it.
getting closer to more games, like, less and less.
Right.
And the summer comes. You
We
know what
getting
I'm
getting
saying? It's like,
down now. We getting
yeah,
down. Hell, Lex, the next game will be March the 19th. So we get the March is getting long in the tooth. So I mean, yeah, we getting close to get through here, and then into April. You know, you got all the tournament stuff going on right now. So we definitely in March
yeah,
Madness. It's a lot of stuff. The time is really spinning.
yeah. I guess you know what? It must be because it's March,
Yep.
because of all the madness and things, like he said.
Mhm.
But yeah, hey y'all, we got to come with it on March 22nd. Got to come with it on March 22nd. That's an
Gotta make it
important
pop.
game.
Oh yeah, 22nd. That's the Miami game, man. Najee
Yeah,
will be ready. Jose will be ready. Well, everybody's going to be ready for that matchup.
yeah. No,
Jimmy
nobody
talks.
accidentally get hurt. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody available for that game because that game is gonna be. It's gonna look. They gonna have to call that game like right off the bat. They. I hope they have some good
The
refs
prime time
refing
game.
for that game.
They gonna have to move that up to prime time level for that Miami game, man. It's not listed as an NBA TV game, but that's a Sunday matchup. They got hold on, it's a Friday matchup for 7 p.m. So
And
that
it's
might
the second of a back to back. And
that's
it's
right.
funny
Oh,
because you know what? The first game against Miami, that was the second of a back to back.
how about that? Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so it's interesting that they did that again because Miami was just waiting, but because the Pels had a back to back, and this is basically the same thing, because the Pels play Orlando on the 21st, and then turn around and play Miami the next night. So,
Right. Yeah. Orlando than them. But
but we gotta be ready, man. We gotta be ready.
the good news on that though, Lex, is that after that back to back is one back to back left, and that ain't till late on in the into April, almost middle April when we take on Sacramento on April the 11th. That's a Thursday, and then that Friday we got Golden State. Those are the away games. That's the final of the away games of the regular season before we come home for the Sunday primetime matchup against LeBron, AD, and them there Lakers. So yeah,
We better beat them. Look, I know it's far off, but you see how I'm at, man. Shoot, we still need to beat them by 60. Yeah, and you can say, hey, I'm not saying that I hold grudges, but when it comes to the game, I don't mind holding grudges, man. Sometimes that energy is useful, So
Miami, Lakers, and there's one more that I'm leaving out. That Golden State. Those are the games.
shoot.
Those are the games right there.
Phoenix too.
You
Hey,
gonna
we
throw
can't let
Phoenix
we
too.
cannot
We
let
got
Devin Booker do what he did to he had 52 points.
50 burger on us.
Uh
50 burger on us. Yeah, we got them
yeah,
twice.
yeah, and we really need both of them games
Mm-hmm.
because they trying to creep.
Yeah, we got to smush them down, man. But yeah, we're gonna handle the business, man. The Pelicans we're gonna match up and get this going, man. All right. So anyway, with that being said, we're gonna get out on that. Listen, we appreciate y'all tonight chiming in. Y'all hit the like button for us. Hit the subscribe button. By all means, feel free to share the show on your social media feed. Thank you to the family members that chimed in on the polls. We're gonna be doing more of that on PPR Final. Also, feel free, family, to check out the merch. There's a link in the description section below, and also like that Herb Jones, the Not on the Herb Defensive Player of the Year shirt merch is available. Got several different styles for several different Pelicans. We got the Grand Theft Alvarado shirt. That's our best seller, man, that we've been dealing. We love the Jose Alvarado Grand Theft shirt. That's available on the merch shop as well. So y'all check that out. It helps the platform. So with that being said, we're going to get out on that. Much love to the fam. We appreciate
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. alldaily.com, your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, and even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoDatDaily.com is your site. The WhoDatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us. That's right, the Pro Shop is the platform store where you can go and buy all the latest merch to support the platform. Available at the Pro Shops, we have dozens of hundreds of products available for you and your family. Unisex tees for men and women, hoodies and sweatshirts, tank tops, kids and baby items, long sleeve tees, mugs, pillows, wall art, bath bedding, face masks, phone cases, stickers, bags, fanny packs, socks, hats, and many other items. Please feel free to check out the Pro Shops. The link is in the description section below. And remember, it helps the platform